And we back in the building. You're now tuned into the Recap with the GoodFellaz podcast. You know how we do every week. This week, it's the holiday edition. Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah, Festivus, whatever holiday you celebrate, man, we represent for y'all right now. And although technically we ain't in the studio right now, we're recording this for y'all so you have something to watch while you're enjoying your holidays. You know what I'm saying? It's your boy Tommy Guns alongside my man, Shaw Montana.
By humbug for the holidays.
Karev Yah, Heritage Hip Hop in the building.
Salute. Happy holidays and peace.
And our special guest, a friend of the show, Dr. Teresa, or at least until we have a cooler sounding name. That's what we're calling her right now. What's up?
I'm good. Hi, everybody. Thank you guys for having me on. I'm excited.
Always a pleasure. You know what I'm saying? Yo, we're doing this holiday special of the podcast. And, you know, a lot of it's just, you know, some of our favorite segments, whatever. And some of our favorite segments are with you, whether it's relationships, health issues. But, you know, on some real time-ish, like a major health issue, a major health achievement, I guess you could say, is in the works as we speak. And that's the COVID-19 vaccine.
Yes.
As we speak in real time, like people are just starting to get the vaccine. You know, it's been long awaited, long talked about, and it's finally here. And what's dope about it is not only are you knowledgeable in things medical, but you actually took the COVID-19 vaccine.
I did.
You know, so we want to chop it up with you personally because, you know, let's be real. You'll watch this right now probably on the internet. And on the internet, there's a lot of myths, a lot of misinformation, a lot of half-truths, a lot of no-truths. Yep. So we want to go to the source, not only somebody who has the medical knowledge, but somebody who actually is in the trenches, who took the vaccine. So we want to holler at you. We want to hear about your experience taking the vaccine. You know, what was it like? You know, how long has it been? Any side effects? How do you feel? And all that good stuff. So, but before we do, you tuned into the Recap with the GoodFellaz podcast. Shout out to the homie Big A. Shout out to the homie Dav Noble. They'll be in later on checking in with y'all. We are sponsored by GoodFellaz TV and Heritage Hip Hop. So now that we paid all those respective bills, Dr. Teresa in the building. So the world wants to know, you took the COVID-19 vaccine. Let us know about it. What's the process like? And we just want to hear your story right now.
Yeah, thank you for having me. And I really appreciate this platform to really talk about it and promote the information that I think people need to hear. The process of COVID vaccination for me, I would have to say before I got it, I didn't realize how anxious I was to actually get it. It was like, I'm waiting for like Christmas gift, because I think what I realized when it became very real that it was coming to my hospital, because, you know, you get the shipments and different hospitals get their shipments different timing based on their preparation and readiness to be able to store these, the vaccines. All my colleagues in different hospitals were getting their vaccines and talking about it. And I'm just like, I want my vaccine too. Like I'm ready, because what I realized was the fact that I have always, for the past 9 months, I've been on edge going to work. But because every single day I'm exposed to, you know, COVID. But in order for me to go in and do the work, I have to kind of focus and compartmentalize the fact that I am walking into a potential, you know, getting COVID. Yeah. And so with this awareness that there's a possible like end of the light at the end of the tunnel, I'm like, I want that. I don't want to keep feeling like this anxiety of getting COVID only to bring it home, because I think we talked about it earlier in previous podcasts about my anxiousness when I come home. I take my clothes off before I even touch my son. All those things were now becoming more real. And so I felt like, wow, I didn't really realize how much anxiety I had towards this COVID virus, because I have to go to work. I can't not go to work. Yeah. I can't not treat people that have COVID. So I kind of have to block it out. And I think a lot of my colleagues and myself, we just block it out and just go in and do the work. And so the first thing I noticed was my anticipation of wanting to get the actual vaccine. And then when it did come, our hospital just had a little sign up that says, different timing to come in, because number one, when you get the vaccine, they have to watch you for maybe 10, 15 minutes, really 15 minutes, just to make sure you don't have any reaction to the vaccine. Mm-hmm. Because the worst reaction you can get 99% of the time will happen within the first 15, 20 minutes of getting the vaccine. And so you can't just go in and say, let me get the shot and leave. You have to be able to stay there for at least 15 minutes just to make sure you don't have any side effects. And so,
especially because it's like the first doses.
Exactly. So it was very straightforward. We went in, you signed a form, you have to fill out some information. Specifically because this is a new virus, I think they're collecting information of everybody that's getting the virus in terms of like, how do we contact you so that if and when you get a future, side effects, we're able to collect the data, because they're doing a really good job collecting data to get information about what other side effects are there outside of what they already studied. And so you just fill out information, they give you a card so you can have a memory of when you can get the card. And let me go back for a second. You can't get the vaccine, the first dose, if you're not going to be able to get the second dose within the 17 to 21 days. Like, if you're at this hospital, but you're planning on leaving the hospital in like 2 weeks, you can't get that vaccine, because you have to get the same vaccine. Like the Pfizer vaccine, you can't, 3 weeks later get the Moderna vaccine. You have to get the same.
It's a 2-dose process.
Right, it's a 2-dose process, and it has to be of the same brand. So like there's the Pfizer one and there's the Moderna one. So you can't get a first dose Pfizer and then get the second dose Moderna. You can't do that. You have to get the same maker. And so you have to be able to get that. And then the criteria pretty much is, you don't have any current symptoms. You haven't been diagnosed with COVID in the last, 2 weeks. So you can't get the virus. Or if you had any vaccination of any kind, you can't get the COVID vaccine virus, at least at the point that they were giving it. Mm-hmm. So those were the criterias. Yeah, let me stop there. But
okay, so it was a voluntary thing. It wasn't like the job was like do it or else.
It wasn't like the job you do it or else. The flu vaccine, absolutely, you get the flu vaccine, or else you can't work. Or if you can show that you have a severe allergy to the vaccine, then there's an exception. But this wasn't you have to get it. But at the same time, what I found out was a lot of my colleagues, they weren't even, you didn't have to make it a mandatory thing, because everyone wanted to get it, because everyone was so anxious, and we deal with this every single day. So maybe, let me not say everyone, majority of people were wanting their vaccine, because we've seen what this does, right? And so any opportunity to try to prevent that from happening, I think most of my colleagues were like on the beat. Everyone was like rushing to sign up for this thing. That's how it was. So they didn't have to make it a mandatory thing.
Okay, because I think one of the misconceptions, or not because, but I think a lot of people, the fear is that it was going to be mandatory. We're going to have to take it or else, and they're going to force us to do it. Like conspiracy theories, like, right. And then they're going to microchip us. You know what I mean? But like there's a lot of conspiracy theories out here, and a lot of people like, chill, yo. Like I don't. Like it's new and maybe I don't want to do it. And, so like I tell people, like right now, they can't make you take it.
They can't make you take
it. I can't speak on the future, but right now, like it's new. They don't need to make you take it. There's enough people who voluntarily want to take it.
Yeah.
And of course they want to see what happens. They can't force you to take something and they're not 100% sure of the effects.
No, I agree. There's no possible way for them to force you to take it, because it's a novel vaccine. Mm-hmm. The technology and the science behind coming up with it is not that novel, but the vaccine itself is novel. And so it's not like the polio vaccine, the Tdap vaccine, those kind of vaccines that that's a requirement for you to go to school, or a requirement for you to hold a healthcare job. It's not those kind of vaccination that has a history of like a long history of studies around it.
Mm-hmm. By the way, I don't mean to interrupt, but shout out to everybody tuning in right now. By the way, here's some GoodFellaz knowledge for you. When she says novel, she's not talking 50 Shades of Grey. That's another episode. What she means is new. In this case, novel means new. That's so when you hear novel coronavirus, it's because it's a new coronavirus. Not like, You know, you know what I mean? So just wanted to, let everybody know real quick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Shout out to Tommy College Education.
I mean,
That's right.
because like I said,
gotta
man.
be specific. I agree. Gotta be specific.
Because at one point, I mean, we got to say this because let's keep it 100. The internet is a lot of social media, I should say, is a lot of people's primary source of information.
It is.
And I remember early on, they were like, there was these memes where like they looked on the back of a Lysol can. They're like, chill, yo, this was planned. Look, it says coronavirus. And, at first they had called it the novel coronavirus. And all that really means is it's a new coronavirus. So that's why I feel like sometimes if we don't break down just certain words before you know it, like, you know what I'm saying, like, hey, those Trump conspiracy theories out there, like, yo, chill, like, you know what I mean? So, we just always want to bring the information, the factual details to y'all. So,
Yes.
shout out to y'all. Sha, I know you got a question for Teresa real quick.
Not at all.
Okay, well.
I'm surprised.
All right. All right, well, I know I got some questions. So, you took at this point, you've taken the first dose, right?
Yes.
So, it's been, a couple days?
I took it yesterday, so today's the second day. Yep.
Oh, okay. So, since you've taken, or even, like, while you took it, like, has there been any side effects? Does anything hurt? Do you feel a certain type of way? Do you feel normal? How has that process been since?
I feel generally normal. I got the, like I said, the flu vaccine is mandatory to work in the hospital and any healthcare settings in general. So it's the same side effects that I got from the flu vaccine, which is soreness. Like you inject your muscle with anything, your muscle is sore. Mm-hmm. And so I have the soreness from that. But in terms of like the side effects that some of my colleagues, they get like the headaches, they have the muscle aches, they have the chills, some of them, which is one of the reasons, again, the requirement for us to get the vaccine was basically you can't be expected to go to work in that shift, right? Because you may not know if you're going to be, you're going to have the symptoms that might prevent you from working. So for me, I haven't had any of those symptoms. I don't have headaches. I didn't have chills. I didn't have anything. But some of my colleagues, we have a group chat that we talk about it. Some of my colleagues that have like body aches, some of them have headaches, but it wasn't debilitating enough for them to not to come to work today. Mm-hmm. And I think that just because I don't have any symptoms does not mean that it's not working. Just because my colleague had symptoms does not mean that it's like terrible. I want people to understand that when you get a vaccine and you have a reaction to that vaccine, it's literally the soft symptoms that you would get versus actually the symptoms that you would get if you actually had the coronavirus. Because the vaccine is a medium for your body to recognize this fake virus, mm-hmm. so it can mount a response to it. And so that if you do in the future get exposed to the coronavirus itself, your body has created a memory of this exposure, so it would be faster in attacking this virus, so that you don't get as sick. Yeah. And so you getting sick, the side effects of the headaches and muscle aches, really is your body's immune system working like it's supposed to, because it's recognizing the vaccine as foreign. So you're mounting a response to that vaccine. So for me, I didn't have any symptoms, but it doesn't mean that I'm not protected. Mm-hmm. I do want to make a point that, the first vaccine is not the complete protection from the virus, which is why you have to get the second one. Getting the first one does not give you immunity against the virus. You get like 50% coverage, efficacy from the first dose. It's the second dose that creates what kind can I say? Like an amphetamine. Like the first dose you get a little buzz. The second dose you get even more buzzed. That's what the second dose does, so that you get bigger response to the virus, so that the next time you get exposed to this virus, you actually get a better response to it.
Shout out to my amphetamine fans out there.
I'm trying to make it, relatable.
Okay. Yeah, man. Let me just take this quick commercial break.
Get a little shot, and then the next one you get I get another shot. Like, that's it. Yeah.
Okay. That's what's up. Yo, Karev, Heritage Hip Hop. Do you have any questions for her just regarding the vaccine or any part of the process?
I think the trepidation for people is the social ramifications and implications going on with the shot, because we're saying the medical community is not making it mandatory, but the social community is making it mandatory, unfortunately. And with that information going out, that's what's giving the vaccine a bad name more than anything else. So my question to you in regards to the process is, was it mandatory that you had to sign paperwork and there was an explanation given as far as the shot itself and anything that could possibly happen as far as a side effect? Was that explained and everything in the process? And what was that process?
Yeah, so I think for us, the process was before we came into, if you signed up for the vaccination, there's a link that says you have to have read the CDC information about the side effects and all of the things that can possibly come of the vaccination. Now, I think that with the medical community, they expect us to already have done that by ourselves. And so it wasn't let's sit you down and talk to you about all the side effects, because we're doctors, but we're also scientists. We have read about all these vaccine studies even before it came out. But so for the community, I agree. I think we need to do a better job in just really talking to people about the side effects before they come in and get the shot. So for our process, yes, you had to sign a form that says you had previously read the CDC guidelines and read the CDC information about the vaccination and the Pfizer information about the vaccination. There's a sign that says, I have read it, and you sign off and said you have read it. So obviously, did some people read it? Probably not, but most people have read it because we were anxiously waiting for this vaccine. I do agree that the social pressure of recommending and urging people to get it, I think we have to do a better job in public health, relations and public health. Public health have never really done a really good job in promoting public health in terms of the advertisement of things, or like supporting or trying to get people to do what you want them to do. For history, we have not really done a good job in promoting public health. And so we need to do a better job of telling people why they should get it, but really just outlining all the risks versus just telling people, get this vaccine, get this vaccine, get this vaccine, because there's a lot of people that are having a lot of trepidations about it. I do agree with that. But for in our community, we didn't really have to do that, but you had to sign up to say you did read the information before you got the shot.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Speaking of scientists, the mad scientist himself, Big A, is in the building. What's going on, man?
What's going on, everybody?
What up, Dave?
What's going on, T? What's up, T?
What's up? It's been a minute. How you feeling?
I'm feeling better. I actually had COVID. I had to fight it off.
Yeah.
I had it for like a month.
Yeah.
That shit was unreal, man. So,
do you have any side effects or lingering symptoms?
Actually, yes, I do. My sleeping pattern is completely messed up. Like literally messed up. I've been awake since 3 o'clock this morning.
Wow.
I've been awake since 3 o'clock this morning, and I'm still moving like I had 8 hours. Like my sleeping pattern is all messed up. Sometimes I can sleep for like 2-3 hours and just function throughout the day. Now,
you get superpowers when you got sick?
I don't know. It affects, because it's weird. Like my body would be like, all right, get up. No matter what I do to lay down, I'll stay in bed. It's like, okay, well, you're not gonna back to sleep. So it's the weirdest feeling in the world. I know some people who still get brain fog.
Yeah.
Like they'll be talking and they'll be like, huh? Like, so I mean, I've had injuries to the head, but luckily I don't have that. But the sleeping thing is definitely like,
they don't talk about the side effects, the long-term side effects of this COVID. That I think that needs to get a lot more information disseminated, because I think people think that getting COVID is like, if you get okay, it's not that bad. Like, yes, dying is the worst thing that can happen, but they're going to be writing about all the like side effects and comorbidities of COVID for a long time.
My only skepticism about the vaccination is, what's the side effects for people like me who've had COVID? Like, they don't know the long-term effects of actually having this in my system. Have had my system fought off COVID, and now I'm introducing something new and foreign that's supposed to help me when I already naturally have something that's built up some type of an immunity to it. You know what I mean?
Right. So yeah.
No, but I'm just saying, like, it's kind of nerve wracking because it's like, of course, who wouldn't want to take something that's going to help them in the long run? Believe me, I don't want to have to go through that again. But then it's like, okay, if I introduce you to my system, what are the real long-term effects? And honestly, they don't have answers for that.
I mean, I totally understand what you're saying. You're right. We don't have the answers for the long-term effects. But again, there's no way we could possibly know the long-term effects of COVID, but we've only been dealing with it for the 9 months, right? The studies that we have, that we do know about, it says that if you had COVID, right, and it was a mild symptom that you had, mild symptoms correlates with low viral load exposure, right? If you were to think about it, like the best way I can explain is if someone that was recently infected coughed on your face, right? You're going to get maybe like 10 million copies of that virus all at once. If I got infected today and I'm really symptomatic, I'm having all the symptoms and I coughed in your face, if you were in my presence, you would get maybe 10 million copies of that. You would get really sick because you're getting a whole lot of virus all at once. If I was in your presence 5 days later, after a lot of my symptoms had kind of dissipated a little bit and I coughed in your face, maybe you'll get like 100,000 copies, right? 100,000 copies of the virus will correlate to maybe very mild symptoms for you, right? And so the studies show that mild symptoms, your body doesn't really create that strong of a memory of that infection. But if you were really, really sick, if you were really, really sick from the COVID virus, you actually create a larger extent of memory of that infection, right?
Oh,
so
wow.
You do get to have longer term protection from that infection.
Well, I was really sick
Right.
for like I actually had to deal with it for a whole month. I had a whole month I had to deal with it.
So that right now, based on that exposure and the length of your sickness, your illness, presumably you would have a longer term protection from COVID if you got infected again, and you can get infected again.
Yeah, I know.
So,
that's what a lot of people don't realize.
Yeah.
When I got infected, a lot of my friends who were infected, who didn't put it out there, were inboxing me and letting me know, just still be careful after I get better, because you can get it again. I have a friend of mine, she's a mom, she had it, and then she got better. Her daughter got it, and then she caught it again. It was even worse. It was worse than when she had it the first time.
Right. So I think that for you, based on how sick you got, I think that you probably have longer protection from COVID, even if you got it again. You may not get as sick as you did the first time because you've had this really big exposure to the virus. So your body has created a longer or bigger army of cells that can recognize as COVID if you get infected again. The recommendation is, just because you've had COVID before doesn't mean you can't get it again. The reason why I can help you dispel your concern is when you get the vaccination, you're not getting the COVID virus again. You're literally getting the shell copy of the virus, right? Yeah. So all it's going to do for you is your body's going to like, oh shit, I've seen this before. I'm going to really be able to deal with this virus really, really fast. It's like a difference between like 3 days of like attacking a virus infection versus like 10 days for your body to really recognize an infection. That's literally what vaccine does. Vaccine decreases the amount of time it takes for your body to recognize something as foreign. Because
I understand that. I definitely understand the virus. Yeah.
And so I think for you, should you get the COVID vaccine? Probably, but would I say, like, compared to some other people, you should get it now? Probably not, because I don't think that you need it in the immediate term because of your experience and how sick you got, right? But if you told me you only got some mild symptoms, I would say absolutely get it. I want to make a public service announcement in terms of when we talk about we don't know the long-term effects. We don't know shit about COVID, right? Word. We don't know the long-term effects about a lot of things, but that should not be the determining factor as to whether or not we consider COVID vaccination or not. What I do know is compared to the flu vaccine and COVID virus, the COVID vaccine is actually way better in terms of like efficacy than the flu vaccine. And so we need to be able to have a conversation that says, We don't know everything about this whole vaccination. Yes, there's certain things that we have experiences with when it comes to medicine. Yes, there's all these things that are out there, but the crux of what we're trying to do, the vaccine really works. And when they actually tested like with 70,000 people in the study, that's a lot of people. And when they did the study, maybe like 3 or 4 people had like the severe reaction that everyone is magnifying as like a thing.
Like Bell's palsy.
Bell's palsy. Like, it was like 3 people that had it. You can have Bell's palsy even if you don't get the vaccine. The Moderna vaccine, one person from the placebo got Bell's palsy.
Ah.
Wow.
Placebo, for everybody who doesn't know, means there wasn't nothing in it.
Yeah.
Just to break it down.
And let me also like break it down for like when we talk about studies, and I'll stop in a second for questions. When we talk about studies, there's randomized control trials. That is like the Cadillac of studies. What that means is it's like the gold standard of any kind of study you're going to do. What that means is they split up out of the 70,000 people, half of them got the placebo, half got the vaccine. And the people that were doing the research, no one knew who got what. So there's no way for them to, change the information, manipulate this result. There's no way to do that because it's double blind. That means the studies, the people, the researchers didn't know who was getting the vaccine, and the patients didn't know what they were getting. You can't get any better than that, right? And that is the gold standard of any kind of research that you want to get. And so the results that we're getting when only 3 people get Bell's palsy in one, in the treatment field, and 1 person gets Bell's palsy when they didn't even get the fucking virus. Can we stop magnifying 4 people as the whole problem,
Out of thousands.
I understand what you're saying, but my skepticism still is real. Like, I mean, we have all these other diseases and stuff that have been lingering around that have been killing people, like AIDS and all these different other diseases. And it just seems funny that this one is specific has been the one that they've definitely like jumped on. Like all the brains of the planet got together to I say diabolically come together to overcome this virus. Like it just, my skepticism still runs like, okay, why couldn't you do this with other things that have been killing people for generations? And now this one here has been doing it at a rapid level, doing the same thing that we've been facing.
But that's the crux of it. This is killing people really, really, really fast. That's why they're focusing on it.
I also want to say, Teresa, I don't mean to interrupt, but there's one more thing.
Yeah.
It's all about the money.
It is about the money.
Like COVID shut the world down.
Yes.
That means people ain't getting paid.
Right.
People paying people.
Yes.
That's why I feel like AIDS is kind of like, stop being a slut, you'll be all right. But like COVID's like, yo, I breathe on you.
Right.
Yeah. So it's all about this right now. The world is like shut down, and that when the money stops flowing, that's when the money starts flowing.
Yes. No, I completely agree. Like AIDS was killing in the beginning when AIDS came on, it was killing a subset of people. It was the homosexual. So at the time, homosexuality was not even like tolerated in any sense of the word. So if something is killing like this community, they weren't looking at it, for lack of a better, word. They didn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
They just didn't. And so, and then also it was preventable. Just put a condom on, right? Yeah. So they were not focused on that. It's the same as like very rare diseases that only affect a small subset of people. Pharmaceuticals are not going to put money in a disease that only affects a small amount of people. It's not lucrative for them. It doesn't make money, right? A disease that only affects like 5,000 people.
So about
they're not going to look for a cure for that. But a disease that affects millions of people, absolutely they're going to put a cure for that. Billions. But also the reason why it happened so quickly, it was because literally everyone dropped everything they were doing to focus on the COVID vaccine. That's why when people were asking, why was it done so quickly? Because all the scientists, researchers were focused on one thing, because it has killed over 300,000 people. Like nothing
in this
else,
country.
in this country alone.
Yeah.
Nothing else kills people that fast. Nothing. Like it used to be before COVID, the most common, the common cause of death was like heart disease and cancer. Now it's COVID in 8 months, 9 months.
Yeah.
So of course they put a lot of money in that because like you said, Tommy, it was affecting schools. People can't get their kids
Whole
to school.
industries are a wrap. Like literally whole industries are shut down.
So they were very much motivated to figure out how to kill this virus from like jump.
Yeah. Plus, let's keep it 100. There's only so many shows on Netflix to watch. So after a while, you just gotta start thinking of some vaccines. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You
Seriously.
know, how many episodes can you watch on Netflix before you've seen it all? So they had shit to do but come up with something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So.
Real quick, Sean Montana. Teresa's been breaking it down, man. She dropped some knowledge on us right now. Are you more likely to take the vaccine now that she's kind of broke it down for you, or how are you feeling about everything now that you've actually heard from somebody who's taking it?
I'm not taking it.
Nah?
No. I don't. I'm not judging her. Like I'm not against her. Like you know what I'm saying. I'm not. You know, you respect people that look at things. You know, from a different way than you. You know what I'm saying. But I'm still not taking it.
Okay. What would it take for you to take the vaccine?
Nothing. I'm not taking it.
Would it take a $600 stimulus check, or I mean?
Nope.
Nah.
Did you even take the flu vaccine?
No.
Okay, so
I don't take the flu vaccine either, by the way.
Me either.
But that's only because like with the flu vaccine, it's what like 30% effective or something like that.
Right.
Like with COVID, they said it's between 90 to 95%.
Yeah.
Which makes more sense. That like if I'm going to take something, I want it to work. I mean, if it's 1/3 of a chance I'm gonna be all right, man, I'll shoot my shot and take my chances. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I totally agree. Like with my patients, whenever I tell them I offer the flu vaccine, especially the pregnant ones, they don't want to get it. I'm like, you know what? I'm not even mad at you. I'm not even going to try to talk you into getting it or not. Again, because I know that it's like you said, Tommy, it's 30%, maybe 40% effective.
Yeah.
Why? It's because the flu virus has like multiple strains, right?
Yeah.
And all we're doing every year is we're guessing which strain is going to be the most prevalent one. And which is why when people say, oh, I got the flu, I mean the vaccine and I still got the flu later on, I get it. I'm not even mad at you because I do understand that, right? Mm-hmm. Because you can't really be specific. You can't make up a vaccine for like 1 million strains. You really just got to make a vaccine for what you think the next strain will be. And we're wrong all the time, which is, I get it. So I'm not going to say, oh, get the flu vaccine. No. But with the COVID vaccine, it's literally specific to the COVID virus, which is why you get 95, 96% efficacy rate. So, yeah.
And if I'm correct, correct me if I'm wrong, but the coronavirus doesn't mutate as fast as the flu virus, which is why they're better able to come up with a vaccine.
I agree. It doesn't mutate as fast, but even if it does mutate, the core of the coronavirus structure, they kind of have almost the same structure for most of them. It's just the medium at which they can transfer that can be different, which is why I know you guys probably heard of the new strain that's going around in
the mutant strain from Britain, yo.
Yeah, so this virus will work for it too, because it's like having the shell of something, and the inside of that shell is maybe different for each virus. But the shell itself, the vaccine will still recognize as foreign. So
now, I just want to say, because I know you're throwing my name in there a lot, because you obviously know where I stand at with it. It's no shade to Teresa, you know what I'm saying? I'm listening to everything she's saying and everything, but reason why I don't have no questions, damn, she left. Anyway, the reason why I don't have no questions is because there's nothing that she says that's going to make me take it, you know what I'm saying, or convince me, or make me feel more justified in taking it, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, no. Like, on the real, shout out to everybody tuned in right now. Whether it's YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, this is the recap with the GoodFellaz podcast. We're just here to bring you the information. We're not here to convince y'all of nothing. We're just here to bring the information to you. Hopefully you make your own decision with it. Some people
So history
will take
lesson.
it. Huh?
History lesson on vaccine.
Okay.
The reason why the reason why it's called vaccine.
Okay.
When smallpox was the big thing,
Mm-hmm.
a doctor, I can get the name for y'all, but a doctor found out to inject people with a cowpox vaccine, which was kind of like a milder strain of smallpox.
Yeah.
It basically did
Gave
what
them
vaccines
some
do
kind
to
of
this day.
immunity to it.
Right. So you kind of introduce your immune system to a strand of the disease. Now, the reason why vaccine is because cowpox, in different European languages, particularly like Spanish and Portuguese, is vaca. So the vac part of the word vaccine comes from cow.
Dropping knowledge, Sean.
Yeah, man.
That's what's up. Yeah, but I mean, like I said, we're just here to bring y'all the information. We are the good fellas. At the end of the day, it's kind of up to y'all to make the decision. But like I said, shout out to our homegirl, Dr. Teresa. We wanted y'all to hear it first from a professional who actually went through the process.
My bad, y'all.
Yeah.
My
You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like there was a 1/3 chance that she showed back up, and here she is. Just like that flu vaccine.
I just wasn't trying to hear what Shy had to say, man. That's it. That's it.
I didn't say nothing bad. I just said
he dropped knowledge on us.
Yeah. But now we appreciate it. Because I mean, our job is always to bring the information. Yeah, we bug out, we have a good time, we talk about all this other stuff, but we also want to deal with real world issues and bring the knowledge to people so they can make informed decisions.
Yes.
And we realize, like I said, like a lot of people, this is 2020. Like, I mean, anything's possible. Like some people just don't believe in vaccines. It is what it is. But at least by watching this podcast, you now have the information and you have firsthand experience, not only for somebody who took the vaccine, but from one person who actually had coronavirus. So, I mean, the knowledge is there. You know what I mean? And
we say that I understand trepidations and hesitancy when it comes to vaccination. You just can't really have it both ways. You can't say, I don't want the vaccine and still go around doing whatever the fuck you want to do. Like, without masks on, okay? You just literally can't do both. Like, you can't say, I'm not taking the vaccine, but then, traveling or going places without your mask on or having, like, get-togethers in the house. You can't. You have to pick one. You either want to not get COVID or protect yourself from COVID. I just know that I'm really passionate about this, and I really understand that people do not trust medicine. In medicine, like as a doctor, I walk both edges, I understand that. I see Karev. I literally understand that, and I'm open to dialogue. I'm not the person that says you got to get the COVID vaccine. But I'm going to need you to actually really just act like we really do have COVID. Like, for example, I'm going to put it out there. I had a patient. She was pregnant. She came one of my visits. She talked about how she had a baby shower. Why are you having baby shower in fucking COVID? Why?
That baby got showered, all right.
It's literally not the time to have COVID, right? I mean, to have baby showers. So now she's in the hospital. The only way we found out was she had a baby shower. This is what she said. Everyone that came had COVID test. It was negative. Can I just let y'all know that you can be exposed to COVID today. You get tested 4 days from now and your COVID test is negative. But if you get tested 3 days later, it will be fucking positive. So you can't just say, I can do this because I got COVID tested and it was negative. No, it takes about 7 to 10 days for some people to be positive for COVID. So you can't just say, you can't literally act like there's no COVID out there. So now she's pissed off because she has to have a baby without her family with her. You had to have a damn baby shower? Really?
Yeah. It's one thing to be, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like we're adults. You know what I mean? If you're watching the recap with the GoodFellaz podcast, hopefully you're an adult. Because if you're a kid, I don't know what you're doing watching us, but that's either here or there. But it's like,
the F-bomb. My bad.
Word. You gotta act like an adult. I mean, refusing to acknowledge something does not make it true.
Exactly.
It does not make it not exist. Like, it is what it is. Denial. Yes, I'm talking to you Trump supporters out there, but no, but I mean, but like, yo, denial doesn't mean it doesn't exist. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, whether you feel it's a big deal or not, like, yo, like, I feel like some people, they go out their way to, like, because they don't like whatever it is, restrictions, whatever, they go out their way almost to get it, just to prove that it's not real, and then they get it. And I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah. So
yo, it's crazy,
with
huh?
the COVID vaccine, I mean, I'm a proponent of it. I'm a science person. I've always believed in science, so I'm not going to hide the fact that I'm biased towards science. But science is literally facts. But if you don't want to get the vaccine, don't look at me like that, Karab. Science is fact. We do studies. But I mean, just don't pretend that you can just have a normal existence in this environment. You can't. You can't. So, and we are dying really, like, at a disproportionate rate. We really are. My people, we are dying.
Especially people of color. Yeah, absolutely.
More. And so, I mean, and then we also have the history of medicine, that we have this distrust in medicine. I get it. But you can protect yourself and distrust medicine at the same time. You can't have it both ways. You can't say, I don't want to do the vaccine, and I also don't think that COVID is a thing. It's a fucking thing. It really is. We got 2 people on here that's gotten COVID.
Yeah.
We're saying we don't talk about the side effects and the long-term effects of COVID enough. We only talk about all the death. But there are people that can't smell. They are never right. They have heart problems. The most recent patient she was 24. She needs a double lung transplant. Like, it's bad out there. You don't have to die from COVID for you to have the long-term effects of COVID. Yeah. So you don't just say, I don't want the vaccine, but then still act like everything is fucking normal. It's not normal. You don't have to travel. You don't have to have all this get-together that you had last year for for the holidays. New Year's Eve is coming. You don't have to have all this get-together. You can't. You literally can't. I'm sorry, I'm really hot about it.
It's all good. Yo, well, we appreciate the knowledge you dropping real quick. Where can everybody reach you at online if they want to, like, further this dialogue or get more information?
Please reach out to me at Recess Pieces, RESAS PIECES on Facebook, and the Recess Pieces on IG. Like, I will answer any questions you have. I DM me, I will answer it. We can have a whole conversation. I'm ready.
They're gonna
Just
be
don't
like,
DM her with,
yo, ma, you're a professional doctor. Holla at your man.
We can, like, I will go in with you, Karev. I'm happy to come and talk with you. I really want to reach your audience as well. Like, we can have a whole dialogue. I'm just saying, it doesn't have to be, the vaccination is not the only solution, but definitely mask is a solution. It's part of the solution. So yes.
Chill, yo, but freedom. No, but yo, but and for everybody tuned in right now to the recap with the GoodFellaz podcast, we want to let you know 2021, Teresa's gonna come out with her own podcast where she can talk about health issues.
Yes.
Wow. Be on the lookout for that.
Putting out there for real though, it's happening.
You already know, because like I said, man, we talk some knowledge for a minute, then we're gonna get into some bullshit. But if you want to continue to get, like, just like health news and information, just stuff that
let's talk about it.
Yeah. So we're gonna keep you posted on that. Like, she's family right here. So you're gonna see it not only on this episode, not only in future episodes, but like I said, man, when she finally decides to drop her podcast, we'll definitely put you in that direction. Yo, we appreciate your time and the knowledge. And shout out to everybody tuned in right now. Hopefully you gain some information, whether it's good, whether it's bad, whether you're going to follow, whether you're not. Here's the information. You make your own decision. Yes. We are the GoodFellaz. This is the recap with the GoodFellaz podcast. See y'all in a minute.